Hello, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat on ET now with me, Vinny Motiwala, along with me, Shrishti Sharma as well. Shrishti, a very good afternoon to you as well. But markets where we last left it, nothing interesting happening on the D Street today. You know, at one point of time below the 21,600 level, but as of now, slight bit of a recovery. About 21,600 levels, that's what it's holding on to. That's the Nifty 50, but broader markets too, nothing happening on that front as well. They too are trading in the red this afternoon. So yes, that's what we're keeping an eye out on as well. So nothing happening in the broader markets as well. Down, as of now, we can see the Nifty mid cap down 0.4% in trade as well. And Nifty small cap too down 0.4% in trade. A lot of individual movers in terms of stocks that we have specifically. Some of them have just been buzzing in trade and, we're seeing good volumes in this was VST Industries, Aditya Birla Fashions. These two names have suddenly popped up and have been buzzing in the last 1 hour. VST Industries is locked in upper circuit specifically. No specific news for us so far that has come in on VST Industries. Other than that, Make Money Organics, Tasty Bites, CL Educate, all these are buzzing away in trade as well. And as of now, you can see something flashing on your screens is on Reliance Industries. Reliance will be subscribing to preferential shares of Alok Industries, aggregating to 3,300 crores. This is according to agencies as of now. So yes, keeping an eye out on RIL as well. Keeping an eye out on Reliance Industries as well. Nifty Pharma, that's the one holding on to very, very strong gains in the sector-wise, and the only sector that's managing to hold on to good gains is Nifty Pharma today. It's up 2.4%. All these pharma names have been buzzing away in trade, whether Lupin, Glenmark, Metropolis, Sun Pharma, DVs, all of them running away up and away in trade. Other than that, Nifty Auto down and out in trade, Nifty IT too under pressure as well. So yes, keeping an eye out on the market. That's how the setup is looking like so far, Shrishti. Only pharma managing to hold on to gains as of now.
Okay, so that's the market picture for now. But in this edition of Market Fatafat, let's move forward and let's welcome our technical expert for today. On this front, we are being joined by Osho Krishan from Angel One, and on the research side, we are being joined by Ankita. Very good afternoon to both of you. And let's kickstart highlighting all the counters that are in focus. And Winnie, let's start with you only. What's the take coming in on Zomato? Why this counter is in focus?
Shrishti, Zomato has been in focus for the longest period of time. You know, you have some of the other news flow that is coming in. And now, obviously, today what the news flow is that they have hiked their platform fees from rupees 3 to rupees 4 in key markets. They had also temporarily hiked the prices on platform fees to rupees 9 as on 31st of December. Now, as per Analyst, what they're saying is that every rupee of platform fee increased incrementally contribution to the margin that comes in. Incremental contribution to the margin that comes in is 0.2% in the food delivery. Furthermore, it can add as much as rupees 15 crores to its adjusted EBITDA every quarter as well. 60 crores is the on an annualized basis is what we're seeing. 15% consolidated adjusted EBITDA growth that we've seen as well. Now, let's not forget that, last week around Zomato recently had actually received the show cause notice that was of around 400 crores from the GST department, and the notice on amounts collected by Zomato as delivery fees is what the notice was for. Now, Zomato believes that it is not liable to pay this, but what they're furthermore highlighting, what analysts are saying, that if required to be paid, Zomato can do so by increasing their platform fees as well. Furthermore, CLSA is also saying that current hikes could actually offset 25% of the impact as per CLSA as well. They said that obviously other than increasing platform fees, they could also increase take rates, they could increase the average order value by 3.6 rupees to 10.2, 3.6% to 10.2% as well. So a lot of combinations that they could do to pay off this amount as well, and that is why Zomato is in focus today, up and away in trade, almost 2 to 3% gains.
Okay, moving on, let's shift focus to what these metal counters are doing today, because today we have a note coming in from Jefferies where they are cautiously optimistic for their sector outlook for the year 2024. The stocks in focus are JSW Steel, where they have gone ahead and upgraded the rating to a hold rating now from an underperform earlier, and have hiked the target price from 700 rupees to 800 rupees now, though JSW Steel is trading way above those levels. For Coal India, they continue maintaining their buy rating for a target price of 450 rupees now. This target price has also been hiked, and for Hindalco, they've hiked the target price to 720 285 rupees while maintaining their buy stance. Other than that, what they are highlighting is that the Asian steel price has seen an improvement, but the spread is still at a decade low. They do see a healthy 6 to 5% volume CAGR over FY24 and 26 for the coal on rising power demand, and for the steel companies on the capacity expansion. They do remain positive on the sector but prefer Coal India amid the global uncertainties, and Coal India's FY25 and 26 EPS estimates are 19 to 21% above the street estimates, as well as they also look at it as a dividend play, and this still looks quite attractive at current market price. On the back of this, you are seeing that Coal India is surging in trade today, gaining and holding on to the gains of around 2.5%.
Absolutely, but let's move on and talk about a counter that I just highlighted some time back, is Aditya Birla Fashion. Osho, that's the stock you have picked out for us today. What an up move that we've seen coming in the stock today. 7% uptick, more than 7% uptick, last 3 days of gains, and as of now, today itself, intraday, when you look at it, it's up the most in 21 weeks. What are the charts indicating for this one? This run-up is something that is going to continue going forward?
Very good afternoon, everyone. Firstly, I would like to wish all of you a very happy New Year 2024. Now coming to the question on ABFRL. Well, ABFRL has seen a very drastic upsurge in today's session, approximately 7.5% up as of now. And also it has been backed by strong, robust volumes. On the technical setup, after a very long time, it has emerged above the 200-day SMA, which is a very positive development on the technical front. Also, looking at the daily time frame, this counter is forming a triple bottom formation. So any breakthrough above the zone of 245 on the spot levels will give a very strong boost in this counter for immediate upside target of nearly 50 odd points. So above 245, one can definitely expect 290 to 300 odd points of movement in ABFRL in the coming period. So overall, after a very long duration, this counter has emerged from the lower zone. So we are expecting a very high potential upside in this counter in the short-term period.
About ABFRL, but Ankita, tell us why Coal India is in focus on the back of the news flow. It's indeed in the focus list of the brokerage houses, but what are you picking on the news flow front?
Well, yes, there are two things. One is, of course, as you mentioned, a brokerage has given a buy call in it, and secondly, more importantly, the production numbers have come out very well for Coal India. You know, a company has disclosed that production in December that grew by 8.2% on a year-on-year basis to 71.9 million tons. For the period of April to December 2023, the production grew by 11% to 531.9 million tons compared to a year ago. Now, additionally, the offtake rose 6.1% on a year-on-year basis to 66 million tons in December 2023. While the offtake in 9 months ended December 2023 grew 8.7% to 552 million tons. Now, of course, let's speak about the brokerage. Jefferies has given a buy call on this particular counter, and they have raised the target price to 450 rupees per share from 425 rupees. Now, they feel that Coal India's volume growth trajectory has improved and is likely to sustain amid India's strong economic growth outlook and a rising power consumption. On the back of this news flow, Coal India is up almost 2.5% in trade.
Okay, that's Coal India for you all. Let's move on, talk about Biocon. This pharma pack, Osho, has been buzzing in trade today as well. But Biocon, would that be your top bet in the pharma sector?
See, overall, Biocon has seen a very strong resurgence from the lows. In the recent period, it has corrected from the zone of 300 towards the zone of 210, 220 odd levels. And from there onwards, we are witnessing a very gradual up move. But the recent formation in the past 2 days, what we have seen, that it has formed a cup and handle pattern breakout on the daily time frame. Also adding to the momentum, we can easily see that this counter has emerged above the 200-day SMA from the lower zone. So overall, this counter looks very positive. On the higher end, we are expecting nearly 280 to be seen in a very short-term period. So 280 is the target that one can definitely look for this counter for short-term period. And even in the recent period, if there will be any kind of correction towards the zone of 250 or 55 odd levels, then one should definitely try to accumulate this counter for a higher target of 280.
Okay, surely keeping an eye out on that one. But let's move on and talk about Lupin. This one has been in focus in the last couple of trading sessions as well today, specifically because Nomura has come out with a note on this one where they have hiked the target price for Lupin. They believe there's a good upside that is coming in for Lupin as well. So on the back of a brokerage note today, we are seeing Lupin is in focus. Also, previously also, Avendus Spark had come out with a note where they too had hiked the price for Lupin. Now, what Nomura is saying is they believe that the US pipeline could help drive the growth for the company on the current base that they're seeing coming in as well. Other than that, they believe that EBITDA margins are expected to be improving over the next 3 to 4 years with US launches, growth in India, emerging markets as Europe. That would be the growth drivers and supporting the margin as well. They expect improvement in growth in India on the back of a field force expansion and chronic segment presence as well. Expect G Spiriva sales and a delay in G Super Rep competition and contribution from Generac exclusivity. I beg your pardon, a bit rusty with those names and pronunciations for pharma, but yes, they're expecting good growth over there for Lupin. Hike in estimates, EPS estimates for FY24 by 2% to 14% between FY24 to FY26. So keeping an eye out on this one.
Okay, Lupin seeing no stopping today, but moving on to another counter that is seeing stellar gains today, and that is from the hospitality space. Have a look at Lemon Tree Hotels, because today Motilal Oswal has come out with a note where they do maintain their buy rating on this one, but have hiked the target price from 135 earlier to 150 now. What they're saying is that the company is scaling new heights, reignition of the convention centers to boost the growth trajectory. Their Aurica Sky City, that's unveiling the crown jewel, there is a robust pipeline to drive the next leg of growth. Motilal Oswal do see further improvements in occupancy and ARR on the back of their resilient demand, and do expect to deliver the revenue, EBITDA and adjusted profit CAGR of 21, 22 and 38% over FY23 and 26. So a good growth outlook on all the three headline numbers by Motilal Oswal, and the stock is seeing gains of around 10% as of now.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Avanti Feeds. This was buzzing in trade yesterday as well, all these aquaculture names and aquaculture stocks. But Osho, you have picked out this one for us on the charts as well. So what are the charts indicating for Avanti Feeds now?
See, Avanti Feed was consolidating in a very narrow zone for a long duration of approximately 3 to 4 weeks. But what we have seen in the recent period, that it has came out from the consolidation zone on a very higher note, that is on the back of strong volumes, and it has been followed up by another day of buying traction. So we are expecting that from here onwards there can be some kind of reversal that can be expected in this counter. On the higher end, we are not very much optimistic or aggressive in this counter, but in the short term we expect the target to reach, we expect the counter to reach near the zone of 455 to 460, and once it surpasses those levels, then from there onwards we can see a very strong momentum also. So one should again need to review the counter once it reaches the zone of 455, 460 odd levels. But from here onwards, even any kind of dip towards the zone of 420 to 15 should be acting as a very strong support zone, and one should definitely try to gauge on any kind of dips for the mentioned targets.
Then moving on, and Ankita, tell us more about BHEL, because this counter has been buzzing off late. Every day this counter is in the news flow. What's the news flow today?
That's correct, Shrishti. BHEL is one stock that has been buzzing. I mean, yesterday, let's look at what happened. Basically, it's on the back of two news flows. One is that yesterday, the share price witnessed a robust uptick. It was surging 6%, hit its 52-week high. But that came in after a media report revealed that the company has, secured a position as a top bidder for a substantial 19,400 crore turnkey contract with NCL. But the company came out yesterday post-market hours, and they clarified that it is still not back the order worth 19,400 crores with NLC. The company has, they said that the company has submitted a price bid for the mentioned NLC order, which is an activity in the normal course of business. Submission of a bid does not result into automatic backing of an order. This is what the company said in the exchange filing. So there was a clarification that came in after that, but the stock is up and away 2.5% in trade. That is coming on the back of a brokerage note, which is by Antique, and they have maintained a buy on the counter with a target price of 230 rupees per share. They feel that they're well positioned to win the NLC's Talabirak project, which is going to be a turnaround story for this particular company. 20 gigawatts of thermal power orders are already in pipeline. Non-power segment is providing a sustainable growth catalyst. The Vande Bharat train set order will propel BHEL's presence in the railway segment, and coal gasification is going to be the pioneering clean technology. And on the back of that, BHEL is in news and it is up 2.5% in trade today.
Let's move on to stock number 10 and Osho Equitas Small Finance Bank. Last 1 month, almost a 17% return. What's the expectation now in terms of charts?
See, as this counter has witnessed, or it has entered the zone of 3-digit numbers, so from here onwards one can expect some strong traction in this counter. And even if we will be looking at the technical developments, then it has been on the cycle of higher highs, higher lows. So it is maintaining its bullish momentum, and from here onwards also one can expect the higher targets to reach around 118 to 120 in the very short run. And on the downside, we can expect a very strong support near the zone of 102 to 104. So any dip towards the zone of 104 should be auguring very well. Even if does not come, then from here onwards also this counter is looking very lucrative, because the traction is getting, the volume is getting increased in the recent period. So from here onwards also one can expect a decent upside movement of nearly 10 points for the target of 120 in the short term period.
Okay, let's move on, talk about South Indian Bank. This one is in focus on the back of its Q3 update. When you look at it, they've reported a 10.83% year-on-year basis increase in the gross advances, reaching at 77,713 crore rupees for the quarter ended December. Now, during the same period, when you look at it, the deposits also grew by 9.37% YOY, totaling to 99,164 crore rupees. The CASA ratio witnessed a 2.8% rise on a year-on-year basis as well. So keeping an eye out on the CASA, I beg your pardon. So keeping an eye out on that as well. South Indian Bank, as of now, given up this morning gains, putting on to gains of 0.7%.
All right, let's shift focus to another name in the hospitality space, that is Royal Orchid. And the news flow is that today we spoke with the management, where they say that the leisure hotels did very well during the holiday season. The corporate hotels were a bit muted, have seen a bit of a muted growth, but the religious destinations continue to see a rise. They do highlight that because of the upcoming Ayodhya fever and the event that we have, there's a lot of bookings that's going on. They don't see the elections dampening their inbound tourism, and the company also added that they have more than 25 plus hotels for 2024 in the pipeline, where the margins will start improving now, and they continue to maintain the guidance of 375 crores for FY25. But with this, let's move forward and let's also hear out from the management itself. We were being joined by Chandir Balji, who is the CMD of Royal Orchids. Let's go across and listen into him.
See, this year, I would say we are adding about 25 hotels. Last year, we have added 25 hotels. So I think this year probably will be more than 25. Hopefully, and because 25 are already signed and they are in various stages of implementation, but more will automatically come. See, margins for us, there was a little bit of a pressure because a lot of new hotels are being added, so we have added a lot of corporate expenses at that time to cater to those. So I think from this coming quarter onwards, the benefits will come because the hotels have recently opened. A lot of hotels have opened. So their revenues will start coming and some hotels will stabilize. I think we'll stand at 375 crores, and we are. It could go up to, I think 375 is a more realistic guidance at this time.
Okay, let's move on and talk about Indus Towers on the charts then. And Osho, how is this one looking like? What is the target that one should keep?
See, Indus Tower has been gaining traction in the last 3 days. So from here onwards, if we will be looking on the technical setup, it has been hovering above all the exponential moving average, looking very fantastic for a higher target. From here onwards, we can see a very a strong resurgence in this counter. So one can expect on immediate basis, the first hurdle is somewhere near the zone of 215. So once it breaches the zone of 215, then it has the potential to go towards the zone of 245, 250 in the short to medium term perspective. So short-term traders can definitely try to accumulate this counter for a target of 215, and once it surpasses those zones, then we need to review the counter, the setup, and accordingly we can even expand the target towards the zone of 250 from short to medium term time frame.
Okay, moving on then. And Ankita, the next stock on your list is APL Apollo Tubes. Tell us more on that front.
Yes, there is an update on the volumes for this particular counter, and the volumes have been a bit of a disappointment, and that's the reason why we see the stock knocked in trade down 2%. Now the update is that Q3 FY24 volumes have remained unchanged on a year-on-year basis. The quarterly volumes have declined by 11% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. The 9-month FY24 volumes did see a bit of an uptick coming in at 19% on a year-on-year basis. The contribution from value-added segments did increase 59% in Q3 of FY24. The new Raipur plant ramp-up is on expected lines, and the Dubai plant has also started production in the month of December in 2023 is the update that's coming in from the company. And on the back of this news flow, a bit of a disappointment coming in, and on the volumes front, the stock is knocked out down 2% in trade.
Moving on, we have Adani Ports that's on your list, Osho, and last 1 month we've seen a sharp uptick. What are you expecting here now on charts?
See, currently the counter has underwent some kind of profit booking as of now, but looking at the overall trading range, one can definitely see that it is having a very strong support near the zone of 1020 odd levels, and on the higher end one can expect a immediate resistance near the zone of 1100. But looking at the overall momentum that this counter has gained, one can definitely look to have an approach of buy on dip, sell on rise. But once it surpasses the zone of 1100, then from there onwards the next leg of rally will get unfolded in this counter, and one can definitely look for targets of 1200 on immediate basis, followed by even 1250 and 1300 for medium term time frame. So overall technical structure looks very positive for this counter, and even any kind of dip towards 1040, 1030 should be triggered well for the buyers in this counter. So one can definitely try to accumulate it for immediate 1100 followed by 1200 target.
And 1200 followed by other targets that are coming in for Adani Ports from Osho. Let's move on, talk about DCB Bank. This one has been in focus as well, and now we have a note that has come in from Antique where they're saying the bank's board has actually sent the names of the candidates for the position of the MD and CEO. The existing MD's tenure ends in April 2024. So obviously they have submitted it to the RBI, the names and the list that they are looking at for the new MD CEO, and awaiting the approval on that front as well. What they're also highlighting that the current team actually believes that under this new leadership also the business approach is still going to be the similar trend that they've been following, and the loan growth is remaining healthy. The bank has maintained its guidance to double the loan book in the next 3 to 3.5 years, as well as the NIMs could moderate but sustain at an average asset of 3.2 to 3.3% versus 3.4% in Q2 FY24. Improvement in fees and operating leverage gains would be the key for return on asset driver for the company, and some slippages may flow from the loan book that came out of the moratorium in July 2023. Management is remaining quite positive on the overall asset trends as well, and that is what is keeping the stock abuzz as well.
All right then, let's move forward and let's shift focus to Ashok Leyland, because this counter in focus on the back of the December auto sales from the whole commercial vehicle segment. We have seen great set of numbers coming in versus the expectation from the likes of Eicher Motors, VECV, as well as from Tata Motors commercial vehicle segment. But for Ashok Leyland, we can see that the numbers were definitely good, but they have come in line to what we were expecting. Rather, from the rest of the two companies I just mentioned, the numbers were way above than what we were expecting. Almost a 55% jump is what we have seen for Eicher Motors, VECV. But for Ashok Leyland, nevertheless, the numbers are not looking bad, but they have come in at 16% 16,324 crores units, I beg your pardon. So that's actually the update coming in from December auto sales. Our expectation was close to 16,000 units as well, and that's why we are seeing not much of an excitement as of today, because the excitement was yesterday when both of these companies, Eicher Motors and Tata Motors, declared way great numbers than street estimates. But with Ashok Leyland registering inline set of numbers, there seems to be a profit booking for this particular counter.
Let's move on. And Osho, you picked out one more pharma name, Zydus Life. What are the levels that one should keep an eye out on here?
See, for Zydus Life, there has been very strong up move from the zone of 700 odd levels, and even from here onwards, one can definitely look for a higher target of 760, because looking on the time frame of weekly chart, this counter is forming a very strong breakout for the upside target of nearly, the breakout was somewhere near around the 680 odd levels, and for which the target comes around 760. So one should definitely try to gauge the momentum, because overall the pharma space is having a very strong momentum, and this is one of the outperforming counters from the pharma space. So we can expect that from here onwards, we can expect a very strong momentum on the higher end. 745 should be the immediate target, followed by 760 for short-term traders.
Okay, so those are the technical levels. You should be watching out for Zydus Life. But viewers, ET Now and ET Now Swadesh, in line with helping Indians rise with India, have partnered with Sundaram Mutual to launch Nivesh Day. That's a groundbreaking campaign to help viewers build their personal finance portfolios through regular and disciplined investing. Nivesh Day is being celebrated on the 5th of every month. So join ET Now and ET Now Swadesh and Sundaram Mutual to learn how you can build your financial future with a SIP in mutual funds.
Absolutely, but with that, we're absolutely out of time on this edition of Market Fatafat on ET Now. Thank you so much, Ankita, as well as Osho, for joining in with us this afternoon. And it's a goodbye from Shrishti, myself, as well as the team who put the show together. Don't go anywhere. Tracking Trends with Nikunj Damia up next.